guys. Yeah, sorry for the wind. It's kind of windy today. It's in the upper 70s, or getting there at least. But I wanted to come on here because yesterday I was scheduled, or originally had done, I should say, on my GoPro. I had originally done a video that I wanted to upload prior to the one where I asked, what is next on the chopping block, or basically what is next, in the sights of, Kenny Omega as far as his belt collector gimmick goes. And I listed off basically some championships that potentially I feel could be next on his list, like could be the top priorities. However, there was a video that I had done originally on my GoPro, at least I thought I did, where I talked about basically what would Impact Wrestling do, in this aftermath, like how they're going to handle this situation in story, if you will. I mean, business-wise, it's going to get them a lot of publicity. It's going to get them, a lot more eyes on their product, despite the fact that, they're on Access TV as we speak and can also be viewed on Twitch. The question, though, besides that, from a business standpoint of, how many people are going to view their product now, is how are they going to deal with this, not just, from a business perspective, but maybe from a storyline situation. Like basically, how are they going to address the fact that another promotion's world champion and wrestler is their world champion and will not be around as much because he's committed to his other promotion or whatever the case may be. And, these are all good questions. And I came up with the idea because I was thinking about, okay, how are they going to deal with this, right? And obviously, the moment I saw the announcement, like all of us did, the moment I saw the announcement that the match was going to have two referees, Brian Hebner from Impact and Aubrey Edwards, I should say, from AEW, I kind of knew something was going to happen to where maybe this would be an out for Impact Wrestling and AEW to kind of do a title change, but then kind of retract that title change. And the moment I found out, the moment I read online, and the moment anybody else that reviewed Rebellion last night, or not last night, but on Sunday, mentioned it, that Kenny had pulled Brian Hebner in front of him, I kind of had a feeling that that might be the out. That might be the way that Impact Wrestling and AEW can do the title change, but then possibly, retract it so that the title stays with Impact Wrestling, so that it remains with Rich Swann, despite the fact that Kenny Omega had beaten him. So, with that said, hold on for a sec. Like I said, so with that said, when I found out that, in the match, Omega had basically dragged Hebner into harm's way and got him basically taken out of the equation, and Edwards had to step in to finish the job as referee, as the referee, or as one of the referees for the match. Again, like I said, I pretty much knew, or had a feeling that that might be the out that Impact Wrestling and AEW needs. Because here's the thing, we've seen this kind of situation, in promotions and during interpromotional situations as well, where when a title match takes place and a situation happens to where one referee gets knocked out and another has to come in, then the one that gets knocked out, if by purpose, by let's say the heel, if you will, or one of the champions, which is like I say the heel, then the original referee would have the right in story to reverse the decision and say, no, I'm disqualifying this person. I'm changing the decision. So to me, unless they decide to keep it as is and just, let Kenny be their champion until at least, I would say, Slammiversary or maybe even Bound for Glory at the latest, you know, I could potentially see basically, I could potentially see basically, you know, the, what's the one I'm looking for? I could potentially see, you know, Impact Wrestling, if you will. Hold on for a second. Like I said, I could potentially, you know, see Impact Wrestling in story have the decision reversed due to the fact that Kenny Omega had pulled the originally assigned referee Brian Hebner into harm's way. I could see them doing that. Now again, unless, you know, they keep it as it is so they can keep the belt collector story going until the proper time to conclude it, which a lot of people are assuming will be towards the end of, you know, the end, you know, basically the end of the summer, maybe even into things like All Out and, you know, Bound for Glory. Unless they decide to keep it around, keep the thing going till then, you know, which I think would be beneficial. I think anybody would agree would be beneficial for Impact, because right now, if you want people to watch your product, you know, despite whatever alternative you have for them, then I could see, basically, you know, Kenny keeping the championships, because I think that would be best for them. But, like I said, we've seen this happen before in other promotions. You know, even during interpromotional situations as well, during different, you know, you know, during different partnerships, we have seen basically where a champion, as I said, will face another champion title for title. Something will happen, and then the champion that caused it to happen, you know, will win the match. But then the referee that's been put into that predicament because of that champion will basically come out later on and say, no, the other referee's decision doesn't stand. Mine does. I was the one assigned, so I'm reversing the decision. And in story, when you think about it, you know, Brian Hebner would have a case. Impact Wrestling would have a case because he is an Impact official. The match took place on an Impact event, on an Impact pay-per-view in an Impact ring. So he has basically the final say. And that final say is he's going to reverse the decision so that Rich Swann wins the match by disqualification and keeps the Impact World Championship. Now, I could see someone like, let's say, Don Callis coming out and flaunting his power and say, oh, no, that's not going to happen. We're not doing that. No. You know, I could see that. But then I could also see maybe someone like D'Amore saying, yeah, but, you know, Hebner does have a point. And basically even D'Amore would say, yeah, and despite whether we like it or we don't, the referee's decision is final. And, you know, more importantly, the original referee, that promotion's referee, who was assigned to the event because assigned to the match because it took place at an event under our promotion's name and all that, has the final say. So I could see, again, like I said, I could see them basically going that route, and you know, and basically reversing the decision. Yeah, you have the title change take place, but it basically you bait and switch people. In other words, you give them what they're expecting, but then you change it, you switch it up, and you say, nope, decision's been reversed. So I could see Impact Wrestling pulling something like that just so they could get people's eyes on the product, knowing that, hey, we're on a lesser network right now, but if we do this, it's going to get people to watch us. Like I said, it's an old bait and switch kind of deal. So that's all I really want to say, guys, on it. On the situation. Let me know what your thoughts are. Do you think Impact Wrestling will pull something like this? Or do you think they'll keep it as it is and just allow the belt collector prophecy, if you will, to continue, as is, up until possibly the end of the summer, like around All Out or Bound for Glory or even Slammiversary. What are you guys' thoughts? Let me know down below. Comment if you like. I'd like to hear from each and every one of you on this. But again, do you think Impact Wrestling will do this, or do you think they'll leave it as is? Let me know down below, and I will talk to y'all later.